Hey everyone, I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to the third episode of Journals. I'm outside once again. Please excuse the noise pollution, airplanes, helicopters, and then my dog is back here doing his thing. So hopefully you don't find that too distracting. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you B-roll and photos that I made when I went to San Diego a couple of weeks ago. One of the things that I'm currently working on is learning to take whatever life throws at me and turning it into an advantage. So a couple of weeks ago, my uncle was quite sick, and I couldn't afford to go to Mexico at the time, but my mom and my sister wanted to go. So what I did is I drove them to Tijuana, Mexico, and from there they took off and they took the airplane from there. I live in Los Angeles, so it took me about maybe 3 hours and a half to get them there. And I knew that my day would be spent in traffic on the way back. So I dropped them off at about maybe 9 or 10 a.m. And then on the way back, it occurred to me, I can use this time to make a YouTube video or to make some photographs. And so I had the Fuji XE3 with a 27mm lens on it, and I had the Fuji XF10 with me. I always have that camera with me. And so I thought, this is perfect. And so I went in the direction of the ocean, found the harbor, and I made this following segment. Okay, so obviously there's a lot of ships in that first segment. They were all these really antique looking ships. They were museums actually. And I don't have a lot of experience shooting ships like that, so I don't know that my composition was very great. But it was an exercise, and it was just journaling my day. So a little bit off to the side from those antique museum ships, there was a battleship, and that I found quite exciting because I grew up with a neighbor who fought in World War II. His name was Alan, and Alan used to work on those ships. He used to fix them, and he was a mechanic. And he fought in World War II, and he just had a lot of really interesting stories. He passed away several years ago. I don't know. I got excited. It made me think of him and the stories. And so one of the things that you're going to notice in this segment, as well as maybe some previous episodes, is that I've been working the scene quite a bit, a lot more than I used to before. And so you're going to see a lot of different angles of this battleship. Hope you enjoy. So at this point, I was done with ships and taking pictures of boats and ships. And so what I did is I looked on my phone, and I looked for the nearest pier, and I drove to a pier. I don't even know what the name of the pier is. And I got there, and I was there for maybe about an hour and a half, and I made a couple of photographs and some video. All of the B-roll that you've seen in today's episode was shot with the Fuji XF10. I did shoot B-roll with the XE3. Unfortunately, I lost all of that footage. I'm not really sure how I did that, but yeah. All of the pictures that you have been seeing were either shot with the XF10 or with the XE3. And which ones were shot with which, I don't even know. I mean, I could look at the metadata, but that's kind of the fun of today's episode. Does it really matter? I was really curious. Like, the XF10 has an 18.5 millimeter lens, which is pretty much like a 28 millimeter in full frame equivalent terms, and the XE3 had a 27 millimeter lens attached to it, which makes it roughly about a 40 millimeter full frame equivalent lens. And so I wanted to see, like, am I attracted to one more than the other? Right? Like, am I going to end up just shooting with one and put the other one away? And the truth is, I would have been happy shooting with either one. For trips like this, or for documenting the day, I really don't think that one really has a major advantage over the other. They are different, and I do use them a little bit differently, but overall, yeah, I would have been happy with either one.